With us now is Grover Norquist.
Delighted to be here with Esperanza as a faith-based group speaking to a number of issues, including immigration reform. Look, it's important that we move on immigration reform because, like so many problems that we face on healthcare and energy, it's largely caused by government failures in the past. We have an immigration laws which only allow certain numbers of people to come in, which make it difficult to welcome new people. And we need to reform them. We need to change them so that people can come to the country legally. When, for stupid reasons, we had a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, I was and am a Reagan Republican, and I don't remember any Reagan Republicans saying, you know what we ought to do? First, we ought to enforce the stupid 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, and then we can have a discussion about what the speed limit should be. In point of fact, it was just the opposite. People said, let's come up with a workable speed limit, let's come up with something reasonable. Montana said 95 miles an hour. That might not have been reasonable, but let's come up with something reasonable, and then we should, in fact, enforce the law. We did not start by arresting everybody, because there's a great deal of illegal driving going on when we had a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. And I have never spoken to a group that didn't see in themselves part of the illegal driving crisis that we have in the United States throughout the 70s, courtesy of stupid congressional rules. So we need to come up with a reasonable speed limit for immigration. And we need to recognize, look, one of the things that makes us special, that makes American exceptionalism true, is immigration. People want to come here. And it's understandable. There have always been critics of immigration. You go back to when the British started sneaking into Manhattan. And the Dutch saw that there was a problem starting up here. And then the Germans started sneaking into Pennsylvania. And there have always been people who worry all these new guys are going to change this wonderful thing that we have going here. And what they miss is the people who come are the ones who are actually affirming the good parts of the country. It's American exceptionalism that immigrants understand better sometimes than people who are born here.
He just walked in, so I'm giving him 1 second to breathe. But he doesn't need a lot of time to prepare because this has been an issue that has been at the forefront of his entire career. So I want to introduce you, the person that doesn't need an introduction, Senator Menendez.
Well, thank you very much. Let me first thank Reverend Cortes of Esperanza and all of the speakers who are here, my dear friend from the House of Representatives, Congressman Marcos Witt, who we have worked on many issues together. We may not share the same political party, but we share the same commitment to comprehensive immigration reform, and we want to see it done this year. You know, from my view, this is about what is in the national interest of the United States. The reality is that I would prefer to know who is here to pursue the American dream versus maybe who might be here to harm it. And the reality is I won't know that until I bring people out of the darkness into the light. I will not be able to have those individuals be full tax-paying members of our society unless they can fully participate. I will not be able to see the elimination of suppressing wages until I can have them into that process. And we know overwhelmingly these are individuals who have come here in pursuit of a dream that millions have come over different periods of time. They've also come here because there is in our country a pull factor. You know, if in fact you ultimately had fruit for breakfast this morning, it was probably picked by the bent knee and back of an immigrant worker. If you had chicken for dinner last night, it was probably plucked by the cut-up hands of an immigrant worker. If, in fact, you slept in a hotel on your way to Washington last night, it was probably cleaned on bended knee by an immigrant worker. If you have a loved one who is infirmed, that person is probably being taken care of by the warm hand and tender heart of an immigrant worker. In so many aspects of our society, It is immigrant workers who are laying the foundation of the essence of other high-paying jobs in the economy to be able to achieve the opportunities. You cannot have the hotel manager if you cannot have rooms that are clean. You cannot have the chef in the kitchen if you don't have the busboy, and the list goes on and on. So the bottom line is that some people suggest that in this economy, we in fact cannot afford to legalize people in a process that earns their legalization. I reject that view. I think that in this economy, there is even a more compelling reason to bring these people out of the darkness into the light and participate in our country. And so, I think that there is, by many members, who I get disappointed in when I came to what I think is one of the greatest institutions in the world, the United States Senate. And here, the last time that we had immigration debate, those people. Now, in my career, I have had the opportunity to be a first many times. The first Hispanic mayor of my state, the first Hispanic state senator, the first Hispanic member of the House of Representatives, and not only the first Hispanic, but the first minority member to be elected statewide in the state of New Jersey as a United States Senate. During those periods of times, I've heard those words, those people, esa gente, esa gente. Y cuando dicen esa gente, lo dicen con un desprecio que es enorme. Y para nosotros tenemos que entender que cuando hablan de esa gente no es simplemente el indocumentado. Esa gente somos todos nosotros, desde el reverendo al senador, al congresista, a líderes de grandes corporaciones que son hispanos. Esa gente somos nosotros. So for us, not only is this a question of justice, this is the civil rights issue of our time. For our community, this is beyond the undocumented. It's about each and every one of us. And whether you be a United States Senator, or a reverend, or a member of the House of Representatives, if you happen to be Latino, this is about you. And so, I hope that we will push it. Well, last week we met with the president, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, met with the president. I was there. We are pushing very hard to get the president to focus on this issue after we get through some immediate issues that are before the Congress, to move towards this issue. This is about the economy. This is about the security. This is about justice. And I hope that my friends who often speak about Scripture will live the gospel according to St. Matthew's, where, among other things, you were a stranger and I invited you in. So that is what we hope to see. And then finally, while we are here, we need everybody to get counted in this census. This census is of enormous importance to the nation. There is a reason the Constitution says that every 10 years we need to have people counted. It advises us, it guides us as to how we make critical investments in our country. As a community, it means, of course, billions of dollars in investment in education, in healthcare, in economic development, in small business assistance that can help us grow. We are the fastest rate of growth, even in this economy, of small businesses in the country, or Latino-owned small businesses, and within that context, Latina-owned small businesses. So we need to continue to nurture that entrepreneurial spirit, but that comes in part by the federal government's decisions of where it invests its money. It is about representation. At a time of enormous growth of our community in this country, that we need to be counted, because that counting will mean a difference in the members of the House of Representatives that come from our community, in state legislators, in city councils, and across the spectrum. And finally, the private sector makes billions of dollars in decisions on investments based upon the demographic information they obtain from the census. Where will I open a new store? Where will I create a factory? Where will I invest? And so beyond the federal government's investments, there's enormous investments of the private sector directed by the information of the census. If we are not counted, we do not count. We have an opportunity to control our destiny in this regard and be able to make sure we are counted, including all of those who are undocumented in our country. It is confidential, es completamente confidencial, no hay que tener ninguna preocupación de que se vaya a usar para cualquier otro propósito. no se puede compartir con inmigración, no se puede compartir con el Internal Revenue Service, no se puede compartir con nadie. Y el que lo hace en violación de la ley va a la cárcel. Así que la realidad es que tenemos que tener confianza, tenemos que participar, tenemos que ser contados. Lo recordamos que hasta la Biblia nos dice que había un conteo. Y Jesús y María fueron a ser contados. Así que en esto tenemos que ser contados nosotros también.